Imagine you're 24 years old. You've had incredible heartache in your life. And that heartache pushes you into an industry, a funeral care business. You're 24 years old and you want to start this business from scratch. How are you going to do it? How are you going to get your customers? But I know it's a business that makes an incredible amount of money. This guest today is a young, bright thing that I think is going to succeed in entrepreneurship. Take a listen. Welcome back, campers, to the business broadcast. First time ever that I've had a funeral director on 350-ish episodes of this podcast looking to grow the business. And what was really interesting, we have a little pre-chat before we come on the show. Guest day, Ryan Evans. How old do you think you look, JB?
24, 25, I reckon he's got to be.
What makes you think 24 years old, I want to be a funeral director? And not only that.
It's normally family businesses, isn't it? And you can see why it would be.
But I'll go through some notes that we've got here in the business. He's got himself an investor. And he said, look, would you like to invest in death? Because that's the business that I'm in. And I think there's always been a myth here that...
Do you think that was in the pitch deck?
I think... everyone thinks this is quite profitable because I think funerals are expensive. We'll ask him a minute. What do you reckon the average funeral costs?
My dad's one was. It was expensive. We stuck him in a gold box and all sorts of stuff
What
when
did
he
you
went.
spend?
It's about $7,000 in the end, I think.
To the funeral director?
Yeah. That was like because my sister went all hippie, so we had to have like a wicker thing.
How long ago was that?
12 years ago as well now, so like a little while ago. But yeah. But like you say, actually, how much profit is there in the... But this is a really interesting thing. So Ryan is actually not even a funeral director. He's a funeral director care provider.
Or support funeral director.
So,
He's like a freelancer.
Yeah, he's like.
We've got too many dead bodies to deal with. Can you go and help us out here? But I mean, you laugh. We had a little pre-chat.
Yeah.
But he also looks the part. He looks like I said, an extra from the Addams Family. He's got his black tie on.
It's what you want, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what you want.
You want me to turn up in jeans and a scruffy t-shirt or a scruffy Zara shirt like me? You would be
say that though. You wouldn't know, would you?
Well, you wouldn't. You can't have that. James is keeping a tally of the amount of like death-related puns that we can get in.
Yeah, well, I like things like that. As
goodness.
much as this is good business advice, having fun is definitely one of my rules for business. Well, look, so he's doing £2,000 a month, and he's very young, and he's got two directors, including himself. And
an investor. That's the bit I'm intrigued. What are you investing in there?
Coffins?
Yeah, but he's not doing funeral direction, is he? Unless maybe he's paying people paying hitmen.
Maybe he's got one. Have you ever seen when you're driving along a private ambulance?
Yes.
You know what's in them?
Yeah.
They're black and they just say private ambulance along the bottom.
If one of them cuts you up, go through the Blackwall Tunnel, you just allow it.
Yeah.
You just go, after you, mate. You're obviously in more of a rush than me.
So,
I'm so intrigued by this.
I am as well. I want to know how much they actually make as a rule. There must be good gross profits in it. Yeah, you need a Rolls Royce or a Jaguar extended.
Thingamajiggy, yeah.
And you need a few stretch limos. But once you've got all of that, a lot of them are old as well. They keep going because you never speed up with that. Like they always go slow. Do you know what? Could you imagine if you had... I've always thought about this in the service of running those businesses. What happens if they break down on the way?
I've seen one at the side of the road pulled over, and the AA guy was just by the side of the road. I mean, there was no coffin in the back of it.
I just wouldn't want to deal with that.
But imagine the pressure of that every day, because like jokes aside, I'm going to try and get on the joke. Like as a child of a dead parent, like I can make these jokes because I've been through it myself. So I'm not poking fun at others.
My mum died,
Okay, so then fine, great. We're in a good position to talk about this from lived experience then.
Yeah.
But that is their average Tuesday is somebody's worst day of their life.
Yeah.
And every time you've got to perform. Not like on this podcast where if we fluff it a little bit, it doesn't really matter. Or if, you don't give a great keynote talk, which doesn't happen, not after you die on stage. Put it down. Put that down. Not die on stage. Come on then.
Yeah.
But like that day, the pressure every day to be exquisite in the delivery of your service.
Yeah. What if
it's a
someone
lot,
drops the coffin as well? I mean, there must have happened.
Yeah, of course it would have done.
I wouldn't want to be seen dead in that situation.
You can have that one.
Right.
That's 5. We've tallied up 5 already. Early doors. Should we just get Ryan on? We'll talk about the challenges with him. Ryan, I'm so sorry. Are you there and do you still want to do this?
Absolutely.
Fine, great on every level. We thought we'd killed it off before we'd started. We're not having that.
I've got so many questions.
6.
I've got so many questions to ask. How profitable, Ryan, can this industry be?
Very, very is the short answer to that. The average profit for a funeral director currently, you're probably going to earn between, on just your bog standard average funeral, you're going to earn between 1,000, 2,000 profit.
That's a
That
good
doesn't
day's work, isn't
sound,
it?
yeah, it doesn't sound lots, but when a few of the independents round our area are doing maybe 100 funerals a year, 150 funerals a year, it soon starts to add up.
Yeah. How did you, first and foremost, Ryan, how on earth, how old are you to start with?
Yeah.
I'm 24.
Well, I guess
Good
right.
guess. Good guess.
So how on earth does a 24-year-old end up wanting to be in the funeral direction support services niche?
So I lost my dad when I was just before my 18th birthday, and it when I went to obviously visit my dad and then went to the funeral and whatnot, it was just something that really intrigued me. The gentleman that looked after my dad and then obviously looked after the funeral and everything was just with a lot of respect, a lot of dignity, and it was just something that really interested me. So that striked a bit of a bit of an asking session to a load of funeral directors around us to see if they were hiring or just even just to go in just to see what it was like. And it took me probably 6 months to find someone that would give me the opportunity to go in. So I went to work for them just as a part-time bearer, which are the people that you see on the funerals, also the people that do all the on-call stuff, so have to go out and collect the loved ones and stuff. So I did that for probably about a year or so, and then I come out of the industry just because something that I saw didn't settle right with me. And unfortunately, we went to go and collect a child, and myself being quite young at the time, it kind of hit me a lot harder than what I realised. So I pulled myself out of the industry and then went off to do a few other things. And then sadly, we're back in September of last year. I lost my mum. So after losing my mum, who was my best friend and whatnot, it really gave me the kind of kick that I needed to come back into the industry because I absolutely love it. I love every part of it. I love helping families, and myself being obviously in the situation personally, I can then put towards the families that we look after that I've gone through it, that I can kind of
Have we
know
lost
what
him?
they're
I think
going
we've lost
through
him a
as
little bit.
such.
Hopefully, I think his Wi-Fi was in and out. I've got to say though, actually, like jokes aside, when my dad passed away, this is like 12 years ago, in that sort of like preceding fortnight, 3 weeks, that business is the only business that you care about how you deal with them or who you deal with, and
Absolutely.
we were talking before you came on, Ryan, about the fact that in that instance, like your average Tuesday is the worst day of somebody's life. Like I'll never forget the car pulling up down the road, and my mum said he's here, and I was like, just that. I was like, it's just so jarring. I can still remember it like it was yesterday. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I've got nothing but respect for the fact that you've been through those instances and then wanted to do something about it. Fair play to you.
Similar to my story, I lost my mum at 18. I think it does really spur you on, and definitely spurred me on. I'm sorry it's tragic, mate. So are you living on your own now?
Yeah, I've got a little boy. I've got a little boy as well that keeps me going, and I've got a good friendship group around me, which is always a bonus. But yeah, obviously losing
So you
both your
married
parents.
already, are you?
No, 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 no. But yeah, losing both your parents at such a young age, it's really given me the kind of
Yeah.
push and the way to go into it, I suppose. And I just want to be there for people at their worst times because I know exactly what it's like. So
So the business that you've created, funeral direction support services, is that a thing, or have you made that up whilst you sort of build up the
uh,
funds to become a funeral director, or how does that work?
no, so there's a couple of companies that do it. There's a few of like the independent funeral directors that obviously are big enough that they can do exactly what we're doing. But obviously, what makes us different is that I'm young. I'm probably one of the youngest around here that's within that industry and does that sort of stuff. So that gives us a little bit of an edge on everyone else, I'd say. But yeah, it is a business, but like you said, it is just whilst we build some more money before we go off and get our own premises and then start it up ourselves.
And this is the we here is there's two directors and an investor. Just tell us a little bit about that dynamic.
Yeah, correct. So the other director is actually my best friend as well, Tom. So he's only just recently come into the industry because it was another thing that really intrigued him. He's got a security background. He's a dog handler with the security background, so it's completely different. But after me telling him stories about what I've obviously gone through, what I've dealt with, it was something that intrigued him. So I brought him on board and obviously went to go and bear on a few funerals and whatnot. And he's loved it ever since. And then the investor we needed on board to help us kit out, as you said earlier before the interview, the private ambulance and all that kind of stuff, because they're not the cheapest of things to kit out. But yeah, that's why we've got the investor on board as well.
So you've already got. So how many clients would you have? You've got sort of independent funeral homes that, when they have sort of overloaded with capacity, they'll call you guys in, or are you on like a residual call out contract, like not to talk it out, like an emergency plumber? So if in the middle of the night they don't want to go and collect a loved one, you'll go for them. How does that sort of the model
So it works
that
very similar
you've
to
got
that.
work?
Yeah, so obviously we do go out on calls and stuff for funeral directors. The funeral directors we currently work with are very small independents, whether it's just themselves or whether they've just got one other. And obviously you can't be on call 52 weeks of the year, 365 days, because it'd just drain you otherwise. So we're there to support that. So we can obviously, it's myself and Tom, and we've got a couple of others that can obviously come on board to come and help as well. So we can offer that 24-hour service as such. So it kind of relieves the pressure of the funeral director to obviously stay in the office from 9 till 5. Because the worst thing you want to do is get a call out at 4 o'clock in the morning and know you've got to be back in the office until 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, especially I guess if you've got a funeral service that day, you can't be going and collecting a loved one during the middle of the night if you know you've got to perform, because it is a performance at a certain level, isn't it, on a daily basis?
Exactly that. Yeah, exactly that.
So let's just sort of bring it. So why do you bring your best friend in? Can't you? Why do you need to? Have you given him shares?
Yeah, so we're currently 50-50 in it. So obviously we split everything. But the reason I brought him on board is because it is an industry you can do by yourself. But the bit that we're obviously focusing on, like the on-call kind of stuff, you need a team of two. So it was just a conversation that we had, and that's where that conversation went, and we created the business together. Hence the reason the business is Rowley and Evans. Rowley is Tom's surname, and obviously Evans is my surname.
Okay. Well, as that partnership develops, my experience in partnerships is they're tough, and usually people go into partnership with their best friends, and that can cause problems. So let's get it out of the way at the outset. Make sure that you've got clearly defined roles and you're not doing the same stuff, especially as you start bringing in more revenue. Otherwise, it will fall apart, so that you can hold each other accountable. So one's operations, one's growing the business. I would, all them three Shropshire ones that are near you, the ones that you spoke about, I would just put your feelers out and ask any of them if they would sell their business, and see if you can buy a trading established business. See if your investor will get involved in that. That would be my, if it was me, that's what I'd be doing first of all. So clearly defined roles for partners. I appreciate at the moment it's not big enough, and you're doing everything just to do anything. But as soon as that changes, one should be growing the business and one should be operating the business, and you should be holding each other accountable. And that really answers the first challenge: starting up and best way to market. Try and buy a business. Is this investor a big money bags investor, or someone that's just got a little bit of cash?
Just got a little bit of cash, to be honest.
Yeah. So do they have shares in the business?
Not currently, no. So it was more of, I say it was more of would you call it a loan as such?
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Bit of a-
You don't want to
yeah, a
get
bit of a loan.
you don't want to break down your equity anymore, in my opinion. You want to just pay that off, get some profitability so that you guys are running on your own.
Yeah.
How much do you need to set up one of these?
It varies. If you wanted to do it properly, you're probably going to need, I'd say, around, without the cars, because obviously the cars are a massive expense, obviously the hearse and the limo and stuff like that. If you were to do it without that and just rent them ones in, you could probably start one for 30,000-40,000.
Wow. I mean, so, but 150 grand gets you some limos and cars and set it up, does it?
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So I would definitely go to the Prince's Trust and talk to startup funds, like Virgin Startup, the Prince's Trust. I mean, certainly the Prince's Trust. I think you're just young enough that they might give you some startup capital. I think it's
under 25, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I would be hot to trot on that because they might give you 25 grand to get going. There'll be some grants around for this sort of thing. I absolutely believe it. So I would go and do that. Absolutely. Have you? How? I mean, if you're only bringing in a couple of grand a month at the moment, how are you living and paying and supporting your child and everything?
So obviously we take a small little bit obviously off the jobs that we're doing, but I'm also working alongside a funeral director that we are very close with. So I'll go and help in the office during the week. So that's how I earn my money. And then Tom obviously is still doing his security stuff as well. So that's how that's happening. This is kind of just it. We're trying to grow it as much as what we can now, to obviously so we can both be on it 100% all the time.
Yeah, I agree. But if someone, and I'm asking you this, and I want you to really think about the answer. If someone gave you 150,000, would you start tomorrow and just get going?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So go and check out the grants out there. I mean, because it's a highly predictable revenue business, and people would love that you've been in the industry and worked in the industry, and the Prince's Trust would love your story of both
why you're getting into
it. Yeah, like all of that. I mean, I'll just get going on that. I reckon you could easily get the 30, 40, 50 grand together. I would be just making it happen. I mean, I would start selling stuff and flipping stuff on eBay to get you, because I believe that you'll make it because you know the industry, you've worked in the industry. And then I would set you one up and then try and buy some others around you. So you've got a couple. I mean, I just think you should, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, obviously since I've been in the industry, that's always what you want to achieve. And it's just getting that first initial, as they say, foot in the door, just to give you that kind of startup.
Yeah, then you would just spend money on Google ads, and you're getting quite, £20 a day on Google ads within a 10-mile drive of where you operate out of. I think you'll start getting leads straight away.
Yeah. The other thing I was thinking, Ryan, with regards to what you're trying to do, obviously, in the longer term, you want to open a funeral home or a funeral director's business. But in terms of the getting your foot in the door to get enough cash flow coming in that you can work on this full time and Tom can work on it full time, I know Jimbo talks about this all the time, like old school marketing, leaflets or a nice brochure of your services. The way that from the limited experience I've had, funeral directors are very, very good at presenting their offering in a calm, dignified, empathetic way. But it is a sales process. Fundamentally, you are going to spend, circa 7-10 grand, depending on how big you want the service to be and all that kind of stuff. And that's without it being sort of a grandiose ceremony. That's probably fairly standard, but they present it in a really nice way. I think if you and Tom, on the time when you're working, maybe when you're not working in the business, you can work on it. I think you guys should be going out dressed as you are, walking into these places or booking appointments and literally giving them your brochure of these are the services that we can offer to help support you. Because in a lot of instances, they're going to be family-run companies, with the exceptions of the big groups, which I know you mentioned. There's a couple of them that we would sort of all probably recognise if you've been through this situation before. But I reckon if you went into these independents when it is probably family-owned, when it is probably 1- and 2-man bands, when they probably don't want to have to be doing the services during the daytime and doing collections and stuff during the middle of the night, I think you could probably get to, 10, 15, 20 grand quite quickly, because the way you come across, I've got to be honest, mate, is fantastic. And the story, I just so wholeheartedly buy into you and what you're about and what you're doing. And I think if I was in that business, if you walked through the door and you told me a bit of your story and you presented me like a nice little 2 or 3 page brochure, I would give you work because I want you to win.
Yeah, I want you to win. I mean, if I invest in other bit, you are, to me, highly investable because you've worked in the industry, you've worked for someone else, you understand about the industry. You've started bringing in your own cash. You've got an investor involved, but you absolutely don't even just try bank loans. I would go and just try and knock on Metro Bank's door or Lloyd's Bank and ask to speak to a small business bank manager. Yeah. In fact, if you email Tracy, who has arranged this podcast for us, I will introduce you to one of my finance brokers. I mean, you're too small for them, but they might be able to push you in the direction of someone that would help you. Because if it really is only 30, 40 grand to get going, with all your experience, I know you've been doing it 4 or 5 years now, haven't you, in some shape or form?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
I mean, and you know exactly how to run a funeral. You know how to. Did you know how to look after the bodies and dress them ready for funerals?
Everything, yeah, everything. The only bit that I don't personally do is something that in the industry it's called like embalming. You get specialists that do that.
What's that?
So embalming is where they replace the bodily fluids with a special liquid that kind of brings the loved one's colour back in and all that kind of stuff. So if you want my personal thing, it's something I can't watch either because it's a bit of a stomach turner, to say the least.
So does everybody that's going to a funeral, do they have to have that process done? Like, is everybody embalmed?
No,
okay,
not at all.
Just if they're in chapel of rest.
Exactly that. So obviously, if you've got a loved one that's been with you a few weeks or so whilst we've been waiting for family to come over and see them or whatever the situation is, obviously we'd recommend, if it's any longer than probably 2 weeks, we'd obviously recommend to have them embalmed, just to obviously flush everything out, that's the toxins of stuff. But yeah, it's something that I don't personally get involved with, but the dressing of the loved ones and the washing and all that kind of stuff, yeah, that's exactly what we do.
God, what a business.
That's amazing. I can't wait to talk to you in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
30-year-old you. Yeah, I think you'll be able to smash this. 5 short years, you'll have something really great. So your homework, you're going to email my PA, Tracy, the lady that organised this, and just say James said about some funding brokers that he uses. We'll sort that out, and I'll follow up on that. Secondly, definitely contact the Prince's Trust. And if it is just 30, 40 grand, like you get a 7-year business loan, 50 grand, and then you're in business, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, literally.
Which I wouldn't recommend to lots of people to go and do this. I mean, if you listen to 350 episodes of this podcast, that very rarely do I say that to people. Option one is you go and make the 50 grand yourself by selling stuff, flipping stuff, doing stuff that you might not necessarily want to do. And I don't think that will take you very long to do that. But definitely for you, because of the experience and working for other funeral directors, I think that hopscotches you along. And you've already started bringing in 2 grand a month, moving bodies around. You know how to do everything. I wish you lots of success.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Do you know what, as well, I would like to help you with, getting the brochure and all the messaging right. If you, touch base with Tracy and she'll give you my email details, I'll help design your brochure that you can then go in and literally walk through the door with these other funeral directors, because I think you're going to do really well. I think it's literally just a case of getting the right marketing material and going and seeing people, and I think you're going to do really, really well. So I'm more than happy to help you get a print-ready version of your brochure designed up for you, so it looks really well branded for you.
I wouldn't be shocked if someone contacts you from listening to this podcast that wants to invest in you as well. I would try and not do that. I would try and get the money yourself so that you retain it 100%. But if someone wants to help you, because I can't understand, if it's only 30 to 50 grand to start your own funeral home and then you just rent the cars, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer because of your experience. One other little thing, I think your mum and dad would be very proud of you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know you, and I'm proud of you. 24 years old, working in this industry and getting some pound, shilling and pence in the bank against all the odds. You should.
I appreciate that a lot. That means a lot. Thank you.
Well done, mate. It really is. I take my hat off to you.
Normally, Ryan, we have what's called our killer question. It feels slightly distasteful, but I've got a jingle, so I've got to ask it. So obviously, within the sort of the prep for today's podcast, we give you the opportunity to come up with a couple of questions that you'd like to ask Jimbo. So if you could get yourself ready for Ryan's killer question to James Sinclair to help you to grow your business to soaring heights. And I'm just going to play a jingle that, quite frankly, we don't really need, but because I've got it, we might as well play it. So here's your jingle. So Ryan, if you could shortlist your list of questions, come up with your one killer
Why
question.
are you saying? Oh, you are saying.
I'm saying it. I'm still
I'll give you
eight. What's your killer question?
Basically, what would you tell your younger self? How would you change anything in younger life? Would you say to your younger self?
Take the risks and calculate the risks. And I think you should go and get the money and start your own home. Don't wait, just get going. What's the worst that's going to happen? As long as you're not killing anyone.
No.
What's the worst that's going to happen? I don't think you are. I think, if I invested in other companies rather than my own, you, to me, are highly investable. I would try and get one of these funeral home people to mentor you, which they probably already are doing. They probably think a lot of you. But, yeah, I think...
You said this in one of your previous podcast episodes, get out of area, because some people might still see you as competition. Get out of area.
I think they won't.
Do you not reckon they will?
I think people will love him so much.
Yeah.
Because they're already giving him a bit of work. They must see something in you. And that's why I would go and speak to all the ones giving you the work and just say, look, if you ever want to sell in the future, I don't know how I'm going to pay you, but I will pay you. If there's any other opportunity that you want, someone that really cares about your business and wants to take it to the next level, just the fact you're asking will make them think, wow, this is a cool individual. This is a, what do they call it?
You're thinking of more puns, aren't you?
YBT in venture capital, a young bright thing. That's what they call it in venture capital.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they call this a young bright thing. You haven't got the profit and loss knowledge. You haven't got the numbers knowledge that will make you invincible, but that will all come with time, I'm sure. So if I gave you some homework, I would be, get all the books you can on marketing and get to understand marketing numbers. I would, at your age, probably try and go on a bookkeeper's course or a small accountancy course, because if you said that to anyone that was going to invest or lend you money, that would make you very, very powerful. Fantastic. You can do that at home in the night. I mean, all of that's in my Entrepreneurs University as well. I'll tell you what I'm going to do as well. I am going to invite you with my compliments to Business Masterclass. I've never done that. I'm going to give you a free ticket to Business Masterclass. I want you to come along to that. It's 2 days in London. The ticket will be...
Sorry, fake round of applause because I was getting emotional.
I want you to come along to that because I think them 2 days will help you massively. So I will arrange that as well.
Well, I can't thank you enough for that. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Well done, you. You've done amazing. And I wish, you need a little bit of luck in your life, and I think you make your own luck, but sometimes some opportunities come along and you make sure you want to grab them. So well done, mate.
Awesome stuff. Ryan, thank you for being on the business broadcast. Make sure you touch base with Tracy for all that further information. Anyone, opportunity to advertise your services. Where can people get in contact with you, Ryan? Where should they come to you if they...
They never want to come to you.
Well, of course they don't.
Unfortunately, they do.
There's a grave danger. At some point, mark that down, that's 9. There's a grave danger they're going to need your services. Where should they go? What link should they click, or where can they find out more about you and what you do, mate?
Fantastic. So we are on social media. It's just under Rowley and Evans, and we also have a website which is www.rowleyevans.co.uk, and on there it shows all our services, and it shows a lovely picture of me and Tom.
And that's Rowley is ROWLEYEVANS.co.uk. All listeners, please go and support them. Just
a link
even
in the show
drop
notes.
them an email and say, well done you, because I think the young whippersnappers need that sometimes.
Yeah.
They're on the right path. You've got a good business there. Like, this is a model that is set up for profitability.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a business, but you can easily turn this into £1 million, £2 million business. And I'm sure, I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure if it's profitable, Co-op wants to buy you, Dignity wants to buy you, all the big boys will want to buy you. So you'll always have a business that can sell. Well done, you.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Ryan, for being on the Business Broadcast. Thank you for being on, my friends. And make sure you touch base with Tracy. Everyone who's listening, make sure you go and check him out. Link in the show notes now. Thank you for being on, Ryan. We really appreciate it. Wow. What a guy.
24 years old and you say, yeah, I want to be a funeral director.
But the reason why he wants to do it, I'm like, I know we would.
But my mum died when I was 18. A bit younger, 17 I was. I didn't go, no, yeah, this is a bit of me.
This is a bit of me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, but it kicked you on to do other stuff, though, didn't it? Because you'd already found your calling, if that makes sense. Like, you wanted to be, like, not everyone's geared up to do what you do.
It's impressive as well that he can dress. Have you ever been to a chapel arrest? Anyone that you know, like you go and see them when they pass?
No, not in the chapel arrest.
Twice. So my granddad and my mum. That's one of the weirdest things. I just did not enjoy that process. I didn't go. My nan was like stroking my granddad, like kissing him. Like, I was like, whoa, I'm not up for that.
It was weird.
A certain sort of person can do it.
Yeah, and you sort of look at these companies, and they're recession proof.
Yeah,
they are. You know, anything in the world can go sideways in so many financial ways, and you're still going to have to pay a funeral director. Yeah. It's the only thing you're guaranteed of, isn't it? Realistically.
Well, I think, and there's massive, huge advance income where you go to someone and say, "Look, how do you want your funeral to be?" and they start paying for it before it happens. So you're getting all this advanced cash flow that then you can go and invest. Here's the thing: do you know? I was listening on one of these podcasts. I don't know if it's Business Movers, Business Wars, or Acquired, or some other podcast I was listening to. Starbucks have got an app. Costa have got an app as well where you load money on.
Yeah.
That you then spend in Starbucks stores. You might load 50 quid on.
Oh, okay, right.
And then you buy a coffee.
I thought there was a death link coming with Starbucks.
No, there's not. There is a link.
There
is a link. I'll bring you into the link. But apparently Starbucks have got $1 billion. That's B, not an M. $1 billion. So B, billion. Of
escrowed money
on the Starbucks app for future coffee sales. So then Starbucks take that $1 billion, go and buy a load of property, invest it into whatever. What a bit! And I reckon if you like Co-op, where people go, oh, do you want to pay a little bit now for your funeral in advance? They're getting all that advance money that might be 10 years into the future that they can then go and invest. Wow.
That's unreal, isn't it? As you think, as a model, I think he's going to do really well. That guy.
Yeah. There you go.
But that one took a turn, didn't it?
Yeah.
Would you ever get into, because obviously your businesses, you do stuff that you really enjoy doing, and obviously from the sounds of Ryan, as weird as it sounds, like he's passionate about it. Would you ever get into a business like that, where, well, maybe not like that, where you've got no passion for it, but you can just see the profit? Does that interest you?
Not really.
Or do you think that's
not really? I mean,
kind
the
of wearing a
closest
dead
thing for
man's
me
shoes?
is commercial property. Even when like everyone was supposedly making money out of cryptocurrency and it was turning them into the next Jeff Bezos, you know, I had a look at it and I thought, you know, it's really not for me. So, and I didn't wholeheartedly believe in it. I've never done stocks and shares, and I know lots of people make money from that. I like commercial property, which does make money, but I actually really do. I don't know. I like looking at it. It's weird. It's something inside me. Yeah, I go, what, like that warehouse?
Yeah.
You know, I would get more turned on by buying a warehouse than a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari.
As you enter the next stage of your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
Well, I'm putting you out to pasture here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in
38. Yeah.
38. In your twilight years, in your 40s.
Yeah.
As you maybe start to invest in other people's companies, or you do something where it's not so energy heavy on you as such.
Yeah.
Would you look at models like that? You go, that's as surefire a bet as you can get. You like the person, you invest in the person, and would you go into those
first? And then if I think they've got a model, and the model will be some track record.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really like startups. There might be exceptions to the rule. Like this guy would be an exception to the rule, but $1 million+ revenue, proven concept.
You want
predictable
scale-ups,
revenue.
not startups.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that was a unexpected podcast episode.
Yeah, he was lovely. I really hope he smashes it. Do you know he's got all the ingredients?
Yeah, yeah.
If you listen to all these episodes of the podcast, is the model good? Is there an hungry audience that wants to buy? Well, they have to, yeah? Is it recession proof? Is there profitability and margin in there? Is it experienced business? The only thing I don't necessarily like about it is people only need you once.
Yeah.
But families might...
It doesn't buy into your rule of 4 in quick succession, does it? Unless you're like, oh, Nan. Oh, no, she's all right.
Yeah.
She's just very asleep.
But if the hospitals recommend you or any of them, I'm sure there's a big recommendation business because you don't necessarily, I think a co-op funeral care because I've seen loads of them going around the country, but
So in that instance where you like models where it's like 4 touch points very quickly, is there a case where you would look at sort of a business where it hasn't got that because it is a very high, I guess, profit margin. It's quite a high ticket sale. And yes, okay, people literally only ever use you once in their lifetime or at the end of their lifetime, weirdly. But then if you live in that area, you continue to live in that area, the chances are that all of your family members will go through the same funeral home.
Yes, there is that to it, yeah. But I just, and I'm sure it's very sticky in terms of, that's a marketing term.
Oh, God.
I'm sure it's very sticky in terms of people do not shop around. They do not check what else is in the marketplace.
As long as you don't stiff them on a deal.
No.
I'm having that. 12.
So
All right. Well,
12 puns in there, gang.
12 puns in there, which at least 11 of those were unwelcome and unnecessary. But anyway, there we go. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have, please feel free to click the link in the show notes. Go and support Ryan. Go and follow him on his journey. Go and follow him on Insta. Go and support his business. Maybe you're an investor looking to support YBTs, these young bright things. Yeah. And I think he is one such of those people.
Just I was still just taken aback by him. I think it's so impressive. 24 years old, want to be starting a funeral director's business from scratch, because I think that's an inherited business usually.
Yeah,
granddad started it, then dad. It's just one of those.
You see on most of the signs, don't you? Established in 1863.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Business,
So very interesting. If you've loved this podcast and you want to come on the podcast and have a chat just like we've had with Ryan about growing your business, don't forget it's free to come on here. You go to my website, jamessinclair.net, click on the podcast button. There's an application form. You're going to have some challenges and you want to be able to share about your business, be open and honest around the numbers. That all helps. And it helps all the listeners more than you'd ever know. We are going to bring the podcast live in London. We're booking the Leicester Square Theatre, which is right in the centre of London, in Leicester Square, actually.
It's very well titled then. It's good branding, that.
We'd love to see you there. All the details and tickets for that and all my seminars that I've got coming up this year are all on my website, jamessinclair.net. Click on the seminar events button. We'd love to see you there. And also, we always like saying this, JB and I, if this conversation has been powerful for you, please can you just go and share it with one person that you think needs to hear this conversation to grow their business, to grow their mind. And we'll see you in the next one.